Welcome to Texas Local Live. I'm Jed Crisp.
And I'm Ben Martinek.
And tonight we have Joe Savage in the house. What's going on, Joe? Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I got it, bro. I can do this. You're telling us you just came from Flower Mound Day.
Yeah, we played Tour 18 golf course today. A little
Nice.
charity event they had going on.
Charity event, nice.
Yeah.
You know what charity?
CMMA. So the Construction Workers of America.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Did you do pretty well?
Yeah, it was a great show. We had fun.
Just you, band, everybody?
Band. Yeah. Band. We were out there on a patio, a little green right there, and some water. Nice breeze.
You got a 4-piece band?
Yeah, four-piece, drums, bass, electric guitar.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Geeking around the states, what we hear.
Yeah, as much as I can, as far away as I can go to. Yeah.
Branch out. That's the way to do it. The more people that hear your stuff, the better it is.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're looking on Facebook today. It looks like you've had a lot of stuff happen for you the last year as far as album of the year and some other stuff. Is that what I read?
Yeah, we got nominated for Album of the Year, which was super awesome.
Yeah.
It's really just a good achievement to get mentioned with only like 6 albums in Fort Worth.
Absolutely.
So
Congrats
A
to
lot,
that, man.
lots of music in Fort Worth.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we're super proud of that. It was my first attempt at a full-length, studio album. Did it at Eagle Audio in the Fairmount. Didn't have a set band when we did the album, so we had I called in all the guys that I really liked watching over the last few years as a songwriter. People from Leon Bridges' band, Jeff Daisy, and Andrew Skates. They're both on that album, and some people from Chris Johnson's Telegraph Canyon band, Tamara and Chris Johnson, or no, Tamara and Chuck Brown. They're on there. Glenn McLaughlin from the Gypsy Playboys is on there. Just Katie Robinson from Chucho. So just a bunch of Fort Worth royalty. Got them to come in the studio and paid them for their studio time, and paid the studio, and then had them lay down their part to a song. And the album turned out really good. It gave me a real nice start. As far as having.
And where's the studio at you went to?
It's in Fairmount in Fort Worth, so near South Side, just off of Magnolia, Rosedale area. And that kind of up and coming place. It's on there off South Main on your way to Mass, which is another new venue, and on your way to shipping and receiving down there.
Yeah.
But really good community. It's been there forever, since '83, I think. But I'm working with them again right now on something that's going to come out next year. So
Very cool.
I really like that.
So what'd you put out before the album? Did you have EPs or singles? Or?
Yeah, I did little solo acoustic stuff in people's houses and apartments, and I did 3 of those, and they used to be all over Bandcamp and Reverb Nation and everything like that. And as I started getting better as a songwriter and wanted to put together a band, left all that stuff up until pretty much the day before we released Songs We're Singing, and that was the name of the album that we got nominated for, and took all that stuff down, just keeping my archives. And now I'm starting to go back and revisit it and pull songs from there that don't have accompaniment and show them to the guys, and trying to get them worked up for future stuff, So, yeah.
Very cool, man. Yeah, and the sound you got, we'll listen to, tracks throughout. And I got on SoundCloud. I dig SoundCloud a lot, and
Cool.
I get on there and hear some of that stuff. And man, your feel is just so unique. You got this classic kind of vocals going, but this Americana vibe with it. It's just such a cool. I just dug it a lot. Everybody out there, you're all gonna like it as well if you haven't heard it already. It's good stuff, man. How long has you and the band been together? I mean, have y'all pretty recently put up, or?
Yeah, and the band's changed. I finally have a good, solid group now.
Okay, cool.
And the first group I started with was, I think their first shows we had piano. Danny Ross, he's the owner of the Keys Lounge in South Fort Worth. He played keys for us. Had Abel Casillas, who plays accordion, and he has his own band now called the Squeezebox Bandits. We had Tone Summer on lead guitar, and he leads the house band at Keys Lounge now. Played with Robert Ely for 20 years, and he's a big blues guy from Fort Worth. Then we have bass and drums with that, and that was our first few months. And then we finally, over time, figured out 6-piece band ain't really going to make any money, especially starting
That's a lot of
out.
mouths to feed, man. Yeah.
And I was paying everybody out of my pocket for the first $50 minimum each, so it was $250 just for me to get on stage,
Yeah, before,
and then and they all felt like they were getting half pay. Nothing against them, because most hired guns do get $100 a show.
Yeah, sure.
So it just wasn't worth it. So we trimmed it down to 3-piece, and Luke McGlathry got in the band with the stand-up bass, and then it was just me, Luke, and Tone for about 9 months or so, and that did us a really good solid. It let me pay for a couple of good players, let me get a lot more experience, and then but now I've kind of expanded it back out, and Luke and Tone have both left the band to do other things, and Luke McGlathery is a songwriter in his own right that you guys should definitely check out. Also super unique. So he's gone on to focus on that stuff, and so now I've got a band that's everyone's committed. Trey Elmby's playing drums, a guy named Morris Holdall's on the guitar, and he plays with Vodio and Thieving Birds and a couple other rocking bands from Fort Worth. Super credible, yeah. And then my bass player is Matt Williams, and he plays with The Cube, which is another local band. But we've been solid, having practices almost once a week right now.
Hey, there you go.
Man, you can't
Moving in
believe
the right
it.
direction.
Yeah, so they're behind me, they're backing me up. You know, there's not a lot of no ego and no negativity right now. So it's just super
I think it
awesome.
stays that way.
Yeah,
Much
that's-
easier when it stays that way.
Exactly, you know, and I try to pay them as much as I can, and we're getting higher paying gigs too to keep them around, and so I'm trying to get them to invest more and more. And
You start riding together, that's when it gets so good, man.
Right,
You start
yeah,
holding
I've
down,
thrown it out
putting
there.
roots in there, yeah.
It takes a while to get guys to be able to do that. You
Yeah,
know?
it does, especially if you're coming from that kind of, hired gun type status where you're building a band together with pay
Right.
and you got that whole thing going, and it's,
Well, then you get some people that just, if they play drums their whole life, they don't think they can write a song.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah,
Get it.
I've noticed that I'm 34 now, and a couple of them, Trey is about my age, my drummer, and I've noticed it over time too that they all have been writing forever.
Really?
And I guess the more mature people get, the more confident with themselves. In
Yeah.
the right environment, they'll kind of throw out more of their secret ideas.
Yeah, you gotta
And-
kind of pull it from a little bit.
yeah, it takes a little bit of relationship building to get there with
Yeah.
people, and I think that I've got a group that wants to get there, and I'm super proud they want to be in a band called My Name.
Yeah, that's huge too. Yeah, especially
That can be hard to do.
Getting good
Yeah.
guys, I'm always expecting them to be like, all right, we'll play for you, but we gotta change the name of this band.
Yeah.
But no, they're backing me up, and they like the songs that I'm writing, so yeah, I'm super excited
That's
about
awesome.
the future with the
Yeah,
band and
that's
stuff.
what else can you
Well,
ask
let's
for?
get a little more background. Where are you from? Are you from Fort Worth? How'd you get started? And all that good stuff.
Tell us about your whole life. You're just
Man, it's a
when you're
long-
Starting from day
Yeah,
one.
let's start there.
Well, I was dropped off by an alien spaceship.
I told you.
Do it.
I was born in Fort Hood.
Can I stop you for a second?
Sure.
Are you related to Macho Man Randy Savage?
Oh yeah.
Told you that too. These guys.
Used to go to barbecues all the time, you know.
Family, he taught me guitar,
And then
He taught me guitar.
Why not?
Yeah,
Why not? He does everything else.
I did
that's
love Randy
awesome.
Savage and Hulk Hogan, man. They were my boys growing up.
Yeah.
Might as well be
My
related,
boys.
you know. Yeah.
Oh, I love it, dude.
I was born down there. Grew up in Hazel, if you know where that's at. We went to Hazel.
Tell the younger audience where
Hazel is just out northwest of Lake Worth, across the 199 bridge. Lived out there, went to school from kindergarten to 8th grade, and then we moved into town off of Hazel Avenue. Went to Boswell, graduated Boswell High School, which is in Saginaw. And
Saginaw,
kind of traveled around the United States for my 20s. Went to college, I graduated, I quit college, went to grad school, quit grad school, lived in Spain for a couple years and did some teaching and
Well, hold up,
studied
you
abroad.
went to Spain for a couple of years.
Yep,
Kind
studied-
of just jumped right over that one. So.
Yeah. Just international
I went to
musician.
Spain for a few years.
I didn't learn to play guitar until I was 27. So
Oh,
the
really?
first time I went to Spain, I didn't even have a guitar with me. I went to study abroad in Barcelona. Did that for a year. Best experience of my life up to that point. And then I came home and finished school. Graduated from U of O in Oregon, which was kind of a rando.
University of Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah, finished up there.
Go Ducks.
Real good school. Super proud of it. My degrees, at least everyone knows the school, so it's definitely, I like the name recognition when I tell people I've gone to school. And I went back to Spain and taught to
Is that what your
Leo.
degrees in? Is
It's
teaching?
in literature, Spanish language and literature. It's
Oh,
called
very cool.
Filología. And
There you
I
go.
learned to speak. I speak Spanish. I speak
Yeah.
it fluently.
The good
You're
thing
right,
is,
it's a
is you can get a job anywhere in Texas now.
Exactly. That's why I'm not so scared to plunge into the music like I have in the last few years, because I was teaching and I was trying to utilize my bilingual skills and things like that. But I kind of came to the point last time. My last teaching job was north side of Fort Worth, teaching at a school called Cesar Chavez Elementary. And I was the bilingual 5th grade teacher. So
Nice.
we did like a week in Spanish and a week in English. And it's really hard to be a teacher these days in a big public school. Not for the students, but for the other teachers. And there's a lot of laziness and things that kind of suck your idealism right out of you as soon as you get in there. So I finally asked myself, what the hell am I doing caring for all these kids that ain't even mine? And I don't have any kids.
That's an excellent point.
I was like, I do want to be superhero, community man.
Yeah.
So I quit, and part of the reason why I quit was that I found the music scene and like started really making me into the person that I wanted to be, and so I just dove right in. And now that was 2013, the May that I'd quit teaching, and so now we're almost 4 years from there.
So were you ever interested in playing guitar? I guess a lot of people think about it, but they never actually try it.
Yeah, no, I was in choir growing up. I was a big singer, the lead roles in the theater stuff and all that, as well as a sports guy. And I kind of had that battle when I was younger, and I quit all my thespian activities and went straight jock,
Fork in the road. Knew he was gonna do it. You couldn't say it without a laugh.
Thespian.
We'll put a definition down here.
If you say how many times a day do you hear somebody use that word? I can tell you once in 26 years.
That's the first time.
A new one.
Well, I'm a little bit artsy.
That's awesome.
No, so yeah, man, I got back into it. I always wanted to play guitar, and I finally just I picked up a guitar 2007 or 8. I was going through maybe one of my mid-20s crises and left my apartment and didn't even tell anybody. Left all my belongings in my apartment except for just a few prized possessions, and got that guitar and started driving west. I was going to be like Jack Kerouac.
Nice.
Just on the road. Just started driving. That's how I ended up getting to Oregon. And
kind of like the Oregon Trail back in the 1800s.
Yeah,
similar.
Yeah,
very similar situation.
And I was worried,
Leave your apartment.
I slept outside and
wow.
in my car and stuff, and it was awesome, man. It was another life changer, and that's when I learned to play guitar. I was pretty lonely at some of those points in that journey, just because living in your car,
you're alone.
And I was just smart enough and clean enough and sober enough to not hang out with like the street kids and the homeless. So I found myself.
There. That's a happy medium, man. You're in a good realm right
So
there.
when I was doing my laundry, at the local laundromat there, I would walk across the street and sit in the park and pick on key D, and be like, all right, I'm gonna nail this chord one day.
Transition. That's the kicker.
And then my first song I ever learned was "I'm a Little Teapot," which starts in D7.
Yes,
D7. It was a method to my madness. I started learning all these old children's songs because I had the melodies in my head. And I knew I wanted to sing and play at the same time. And so it allowed me to sing the song and change the chord without hating myself terribly for messing it up. Because I'd be like, "I'm a little," then I'd stop and play the G, T-Pot. Same for This Land Is Your Land, and a lot of this stuff that's already in my brain so hardcore that I'll never lose the melody or feel like I'm messing it up.
Perfect.
And it worked,
It
took about 6 months or a year before I started learning real songs, and then I started trying to play Dylan songs and Woody Guthrie songs, stuff like that. So that's kind of
there's your inspiration there too. And that was kind of a follow up, but man, you can just nail that.
Yeah, I love those.
Awesome.
The Beatles, they're awesome.
It's the Beatles.
I love those guys. Dr. Dre.
Ayo, there we go. See, there's your Ayo for the day.
Eminem.
Ayo for the day.
Limp Bizkit,
awesome,
Korn. Those are all the shit I grew up with.
Well, right. Yeah, I was gonna say that's all coming from the childhood era.
Yeah.
Well, sweet.
But yeah, it kind of brings us to where we're at. It's just been 4 years of really working hard and getting to where I'm. And I don't do anything anymore except for play music, and
There you go.
I pick up side jobs still, but it's because I want more money.
Yeah.
And, but I could survive on my 25 or 26,000 I make a year.
Yeah,
or whatever.
It's pretty good for making that much.
Especially
it's tough.
Yeah, last year that's what I did solo and paid the band well, and so I ain't hurting, and things are going really well. So
Yeah, a lot of people wish they were in your situation right now, especially with your experience, man. That's crazy, traveling like that and just totally letting loose of just everything that a lot of people hold on to. And this, the industry, was kind of where I was going next with it, is the music scene as it is now. How do you, and you may be a perfect person to answer that, where do you see it going? How do you see it for the indie artist, man? Because you are the epitome of that, really.
what I'm trying to do, and I've thought about this question on the way here indirectly.
Syncing up in the minds, man. I was talking to alien shit, and I was getting to you.
1 second, guys. I gotta take a call.
I'll be back.
We're like,
my bad. Yeah, it's right here.
my bad.
What was that? He's wearing what color underwear?
Oh, jeez.
No, man. You know, I think that money is an important part of it. You know, and I really need to be 100% invested in whatever I want to be really good at. You know, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I really can't divide my time between doing anything else and playing music. Music has to be the number one thing so that I can progress at like a rate that I'm satisfied with and continue to grow. And so with that, there has to be money behind it, you know. And sometimes I get lost trying to compete with like image inside of scene, you know, DFW scene or Fort Worth scene or Dallas scene, and that really is not what I think indie artists should be doing right now. You shouldn't cater to your local dives and the local
pander
scene
to the
studio.
audience.
Right, but could be, and the reason why I say that you should not do that is because there's plenty of opportunity in DFW and in most, I'm hoping in the rest of America too, to play for money, you know, to play for $100 a man or $200 a man. And sometimes those gigs go unnoticed, like Tour 18. We didn't know anybody out there. Nobody from the scene was there to watch us, but we met a lot of new people. And we met a lot of affluent people, maybe people of influence that could possibly give us gigs down the line, which are all high dollar paying gigs. So that's the trade off for me, is like, really it's just the grind, you know, we're in the trenches. And as an indie artist, you want to find your own venues, you want to find your own places to play and set your own rate. And like, I've noticed that when I was ready to go from open micing to playing gigs, that opportunity was there when I decided I was ready. When I wanted to go from playing free gigs to making $50, that opportunity was there. And so each time I reset a standard for myself, it seems that I'm being met, you know, by the universe, or, you know, by the right path and stuff. And so now we're asking for, you know, $500 minimum for the band, and that's the way low minimum. We really need to up it to $1,000 minimum. And, you know, $300 for a 3-hour show for a solo artist, you know, and like, and those things are starting to happen for me. So I wonder if I just start asking for 5,000. You know?
There you go, man. You set the bar.
Yeah, you know, if that's gonna happen. So I think that's what an indie artist should do. Is it's really easy to get lost in pandering to people who have a lot of social clout within your scene, but they don't have a lot of power outside of that.
Yeah, they're in the moment, they're in there with you, and it goes a lot with, you know, social media. I think it's being used the wrong way, and you may be able to talk to that too, but like you just said, you go to a show, you know, that's got people in the crowd, they weren't expecting you, they don't know who you are.
Right.
And you're playing your gig, and you're out there doing your thing, and then now all of a sudden, they can use the social media to like you, to be a part of who you are,
And
instead of the business card, you know, type aspect of the old days.
Yeah, business cards still.
Yeah,
people
they're still there
ask
for
us
sure.
for those, and that's you. I can't stress enough that how many times I've had business cards and didn't need them, and then not have them and need
And
them.
need 'em,
It
yeah.
works both
Always
ways,
have.
and it's just there's no way to go about it except for just have
Well,
them.
now they got them digitally on your phone.
That's true too, yeah, but I mean, just have
Well,
some
a lot of
fun.
old timers that have money, you know, these people
Yeah.
in their 50s and
They like to
60s
see
who want to help and want to be involved. You know, they don't just want to be a fan; they need another grandson. Or
Yeah,
they,
exactly, dude, you're right,
They
you're hitting
need
the
this extension of their
Yeah.
loving self,
And that's
so,
where you get those like home gigs too.
Yeah, and
That's
they
the thing, dude.
there's a few of them that we play yearly now, and it'll be our second year to play this place called Bel Air Sound, and it's they're an older couple and they have a house venue and they do shows once a month, but they're one of the best paying and nicest people that we've
Yeah.
ever encountered, you know, and they like being a part of the community, not only because they like music, but because they like to see people grow and mature and get better, and like every time we meet special people like that. Every time I do, it makes me feel better, you know, and so it's a
Sometimes
little
that's
bit
almost
more
better than
motivating.
money.
Absolutely,
You meet
yeah.
the
And
right
when you
people
get
like
both
that.
of them,
Yeah,
and they're
exactly.
like, okay, we give you this love, but then here's the stuff. Yeah, then it's like,
Yeah.
man, you know.
So I want to talk about Bel Air Sound. You brought that up, and I saw that on one of your shows. And I was going to ask you about that anyway. It's just a couple that just has they invite
Yeah,
people from the
Philip
public.
Hennon and his wife. I can't remember how we met, but it had something to do with the Songs Worth Singing album that came out. And I think I hit him up and asked if we could play, and he let us do it, you know. And so we brought the band in there and we blew them away.
It's
you
just
know?
the people in the public. Like it's open to the public. I mean,
It's open to the public.
Okay, that's
it
cool.
was $10 to get in,
Open
and
their
then they
house
had
up like
potluck, so they
Ah.
had like a place for everybody to eat.
Huh.
And then in the room where we played, there was like movie theater style seating.
Nice.
You know, so everybody had a place to sit,
That's
and
amazing.
the sound was great. And yeah, you know,
I'm sorry, where's this place at?
it's in off Bel Air Circle in Fort Worth, Texas. It's just called Bel Air Sound. They
Just
have
a
their own
residence.
Facebook and everything, but yeah, it's just a residence and doing really cool stuff for many other bands as well. They have a show a month, I believe.
And that's what I'm getting at
Yeah.
to whoever's watching, man. That needs to be a common thing. I think it will be as the generation goes on, because I was playing around with some friends of mine that were a little older as well, and actually a couple shows we used to play back in the day with my whole band. And then people come out of the crowd like, oh, I got guitars on the wall and I got drum set. I mean, it's just me, but I got all this stuff. Like, y'all come over and like, oh man, they wanted to be a part of that, and that's something really cool that they can just harness. I don't know. It's just a really cool thing.
Yeah, I mean, as a local guy, having people that you can really connect with, like, it not only serves like your friendship needs, but it also serves like marketing needs.
Oh, dude, yeah,
Because when
all
you get
day.
people who trust you and who like you and who want to see you grow, they'll share your stuff with their friends.
For
you know?
sure.
And if your stuff's good, then like they're gonna be proud to share it, and then that friend's gonna listen to it, and they're gonna share it too. And like I think that's where my band's at right now. Is we're in this little space where we're about to like hit that exponential curve. You know, that little tipping
Yep.
point where we've been playing unknown for the last year at all these different venues. We've probably been in front of totally, like, you know, maybe close to 500,000 people. You know, because we play in Dallas on the regular at places like Rustic and Pecan Lodge and Armory and all this Deep Ellum stuff, and we play all over Fort Worth, and there's like 4 million people in the Metroplex or something.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
you
that's a good
know,
estimate.
we've probably been in front of, you know, 500,000 people over the last year and a half, and now there's got to be some of this little synergy that's going to start
Something's gotta
happening,
give,
where somebody's
yeah.
going to be like, hey, did you see that guy Joe Savage? And they're going to be like, I actually did see him one time. And they're going to be like, he's so good, right? They're going to be like, oh yeah, he's so good. He's the best.
I want him. I'm gonna pay him $1,000
And they
an
may
hour.
not know
Yeah.
what but they're making that social connection based
Yeah.
around a brand and around a name, and like, you know, I've been quiet. I don't like I don't know. I'm either way. I can really make people really mad, or just like stay inside and be super nice, you know.
Yeah.
And so it hurts a little bit that I don't try to push my way into a lot of circles and like play the politics game. Like, I totally don't try to go hang out with like the most popular band in town and then stay after and like buy all their drinks and hang out with them and make them my friends so that I can kind of get into their social network. Because you can do that, and then those people will, you know, disseminate all your music for you.
Mhm.
But it seems a little hollow in that way. So I always try to wait for the people who are on top of the game to notice me organically, and then try to get to know them as equal artists, you know, instead of as tools for each other to get better. That's just one of my things that I do. It can hurt me, but at the same time, I prefer people who are not musicians to really get to see me, because they're the ones that appreciate, and
Yeah.
they're not as judgmental.
Yeah, they're not like us. It's like, man, I really didn't like the way you said that line.
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Or you walk into a show, you know, if a random person walks into one of my shows and I'm singing Johnny Cash, Folsom Prison Blues, which isn't my #1 favorite song to sing, but it's
Engages.
totally one that gets $20
Oh.
dropped in the tip jar
Yeah,
almost every time.
Yeah.
and everyone
Where
loves
are you
it.
playing at? That never happened for me.
I can sound pretty close to Johnny Cash. so,
that's-
there's that.
That's
But
all
it's-
Joe Cash?
So yeah. But if a musician walks in, that's all the shit they say. Fucking hack, you know, like,
Oh,
you know, get him
yeah.
out of there. You're just
Everybody
doing
knows
Johnny
that.
Cash covers. Where's his
They're just
originality?
mad. Some girl
Where's this
Yeah.
But there's got to be a balance, and so I've learned to not do that. Folsom Prison. We do other Johnny Cash songs now, but at the same time, I don't really care what other musicians think, because a lot of times musicians are just as poor as I am, and they have no way to help me financially, and they also probably aren't going to listen to my album even if I gave it to them. You know, a lot of times because they're busy, or because they don't give a shit. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
But so it's just a fine line between just figuring out how to navigate everything, you know, and I love it, man. It's just a fun little journey. You know?
Well, dude, you're living the dream, and you're taking it by the horns for sure. You're doing it all right. I think we'd like to hear some tunes at some point.
Cool, yeah.
And so your new album's called.
Yeah, let's go and get that out.
Cool. New album is called No Fear, and it's a live album, DIY. So a lot of the stuff that I was talking about is kind of like paving your own road, and that's what we really try to do, because the first album had all those kind of local celebrities on it, and we wanted to make an album that was just us without anyone's celebrity influence to help it do anything locally. And so we did it at my buddy Luke McGlathry's house. He's a stand-up bass player. And we cut it live. We did it all in one day. Our first try, we messed it up. And so we came back and did another day a couple weeks later. And that's the day that we ended up taking. So it's 100% live. We came up with this thing called precision playing, and it's just play as quiet as we possibly can. And a lot of times why you pay for a studio is because you're so loud that you're paying for the treatment of the room so that the sound is nicer. But if you just be real quiet and not let the sound bounce off the wall and just go straight into the microphone, well, then you don't have to worry about a lot of the same problems. So over the videos that you guys have seen, during that process, we developed this technique called precision playing, and that's what we tried to showcase on our the live album called No Fear. And that's Tone Summer playing only guitar, and Luke playing stand-up bass, and me playing acoustic and singing. And we did it all right there, and then we started talking about artwork. And we decided no artwork, just a black album.
Yeah.
So Joe Savage, No Fear. That way there's no kind of opinions, or it's the exact opposite of what I did for my first album.
Yeah, right,
It's typical of how I do things, but I don't know how to
So
tweak
wait for the
it.
next one.
Yeah, somewhere
We're
next
gonna
one
go,
might be
yeah.
somewhere in the middle, but I really like what we did because it's ours, and it really showcases. I knew that Tone and me and Luke were splitting up in good ways. We're still all good friends, and I can call those guys if I really need them, But we knew we were going to split up, so it's really nice to have exactly what we were doing, because that was our first set, pretty much. Anywhere we played those 9 songs to open our shows a lot of times, and then our other sets were a little bit varied. But so it was really cool to capture that. I'm proud of it. And, we had a release at Dreamy Life Records, and it's going good.
And that was pretty recent, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
'Cause
that
I
was
think
August.
I think we shared something
Uh-huh.
for you.
Yeah, we did it on a Tuesday night,
Right.
and I picked a Tuesday because we wanted to make sure that nobody had to pay for beer and nobody had to pay to get in. That the only thing that people were expected to do was buy an album and show up for free and enjoy some music. Because the other times that I've had CD releases, and a lot of times when we do that stuff as artists, we usually pay the sound guy, we pay the door guy, we got to pay our band, and then the bar takes the beer money, and we get the crumbs of the door, And if we want to get money out the door, we need to set a $10 or $15 cover. But then we're expecting our fans to pay $15, $10 to $15 to come in, $10 to $15 for the album, buy a shirt, grab a couple stickers, and then buy $40 worth of liquor. And by the end of the night, I just can't really justify asking all of my close friends and family to come spend $100 each when I don't get any of that at the end of the night, because I'm paying out my band, I'm paying out these other people. I make it a little bit, but so I wanted to make it where I can make money and everyone could also come and do something for free. So that's why we did it at the library, and it went really well. That was just last month. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Cool. Yeah, congrats on all your success, man, and we're looking forward to hearing more of you guys.
Hell yeah, man! Thank you.
Thanks for coming out, Joe. His
Yeah,
album
appreciate y'all
No
having me.
Fear is on iTunes.
Yeah.
Yeah, iTunes. It's not on iTunes yet. No Fear is only on Bandcamp currently.
Okay.
And that's so that I get most of the money for now. And we'll put it out on iTunes by the end of the year and on Spotify. But Bandcamp gives me 75% of each cut.
Cool.
So you pay $10 for the album, I get $750 directly that moment into my PayPal account. Which is super beneficial. If we put it on iTunes, then I have to wait to sell.
it's a month or something.
Sell
Or a
certain,
certain amount,
a certain amount of money. It has to build up, and then they send it over, and it's only like $3 or $4 an album, even though I'm selling it for the same price. And then Spotify, I haven't ever
Clicks is
yeah.
And then you got
hundredth of a penny.
Yeah.
Facebook,
Mhm.
just Joe Savage Music.
Joe Savage Fort Worth is my personal, and Joe Savage Fort Worth Music is my like page. And I don't like having a like page, but I've been told that I need one, and so I have one, and it's there, and I appreciate all your likes.
Instagram is it
Joe Savage Fort Worth.
Joe Savage Fort Worth?
Yeah, if you just type Google Joe Savage Fort Worth, so much stuff comes up. It's starting to be if you just put Joe Savage. There are 3 other Joe Savages in the United States, though.
Ah.
They're awesome.
One
We'll
of
bury
these.
them on page 2 and 3.
One of
Google,
these.
man.
Yeah, we're trying
We'll
to
get your
bury
stuff
them.
up too in the links as well.
Yeah,
So.
but really easy to find me, Joe Savage from Fort Worth, and SoundCloud as well, Joe Savage Fort Worth. And there's a lot of cool stuff on there that's not, it's different and more personal. Little stuff that's more like, kind of scratch tracky, demo-y, not as polished up stuff,
First
solo
draft, man.
stuff.
Yeah,
I like that stuff. 'cause
Yeah,
it's
oh
a
yeah.
little more
That's
intimate.
what SoundCloud's for, man, all day.
That's what I think it's for too.
Love it.
Although it is a pretty cool platform if you
Yeah.
blow up on there. Shit.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. We'll get some tunes out of you here in a second,
Cool.
and we'll get to those next.
I'm Joe Savage. This is one of my songs called Wednesday Again. Well, it's Wednesday again, and I'm trying to find new friends. Well, I'm hitting every joint around, and I'm talking and laughing. I keep on buying people drinks. They all love me till my money runs out. Well, I'm high again. And oh, my wallet's looking pretty thin, but I'm still betting on a losing friend. So let's go call up Eastside Jim. Then we head back to the bar and we order another drink. We'll probably close it down, stay till 2 or 3, hanging out with new strangers I call friends. Well, they finally kicked me out and they slammed the door. I rode drunk driving cause I wanted more. Well, I'm sleeping on the floor someplace I've never been. Living high, I meet so many people who live low. It's so nice to meet you high, low. 'Cause I like fighters, the stay up all-nighters, the 1-2 you'll never see blink. But if you stay up all night, well then you sleep all day. And all the normal people try and go to work. You know I wake up with no clothes on, and I throw a dirty robe on. I make it to the bar by closing time. Just as I get to going, well, I start to knowing that I'll be alone tonight. And I've already quit drinking 3 or 4 times, and I might quit again tonight. So if you think that I'm drinking, that you've crossed my mind, well, honey, you might be right. Well, I made it home. Only the Lord knows. I'm getting stoned on the songs that I sing. It's another one of my originals called I Still Know. I'm Joe Savage from Fort Worth. Your papa died and took your secret, 'cause he came out to the highway late that night. Broken key in the top lock. You quit your job as a local cop, and by now you can safely say you're in the dark. Your mom remembered nothing when she died. Well, no matter, 'cause she always took your side. Irish trinkets in the corner case, libations at 3, keeping up pace, and you can hide out forever in Highland Park. But I still know, yes, I still know all of those things that you just can't outgrow. I still know. And you left your home and started over, but you also left impressions on some members of City Hall. Open shut case, a quarter ounce. Remember going out to Odie's house, but you can justify the means to any end. But don't you worry, I won't tell your secret. A silent tongue can beat like a sword. you may think that I can overlook how you pulled my record like a library book. The whole town knows that you never read to the end. But I still know. Yes, I still know all of those things that you just can't outgrow. Well, I'll always know.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Check us out at TexasLocalLive.com for everything else that's going on in our world. Be sure to check us out at all the other social media platforms we have at Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat at Texas Local Live, and we hope to be seeing you around.